Take two. Micah Frankel for Cage Minds here at the Mayweather Boxing Club. I mean, this is too cool. It's fight week for UFC 239. And we got Iran McGriff, world famous pad man here with us. Not just a boxer, but a martial artist. When did you get into the martial arts?
I got into martial arts when I was a kid, but I got deep into it like in like ninth grade, and I pursued it all through like off and on through high school, and then when I graduated, I had a really good sensei by the name of Yusef Owens. He's one of the best coaches I've ever had, best sensei I've ever had, one of the greatest masters in the business, and I just ran with it from there and just picked up pieces and pieces and pieces as I went, as I got older, and then I was doing other things in my life, and then I got into boxing when I came to Las Vegas back in 95, and Jeff Mayweather was one of my coaches. That's how I got familiar with him.
Back to the start, though. What was that first traditional martial art that you started out with? What was that first inaugural?
Taekwondo, yeah. Taekwondo, and then I did Kung Fu for a while, and I did Wing Chun for a long time. And I just, like I said, I picked it up in bits and pieces, was studying here and there, working on techniques and katas, and just I've always been an athlete. Played basketball, wrestled. I was active. I was a skinny kid though.
What inspired the transition into combat sports, going from those traditional sports? What was it about the martial arts that drew you in?
The thing about martial arts was what they were doing now compared to what they were doing back then is totally different. So it caught my eye now more than anything in the last, let's say the last 5 to 6 years. It really caught my eye for mixed martial arts and combat sports because it was something that I always wanted to do, but growing up back when we did martial arts, it was raising a flag and points. It was different. Now it's real contact. It's no joke now. It's the real deal. So everybody is following it now, and I'm a true believer of the sport. It's a great sport, and it's great for the business, and it's great for the society the way it is. Now you can actually see what really goes on, and you can actually see if sometimes you have to say, well, does traditional work? You understand? Like, does traditional work with martial arts? If you have to understand something about mixed martial arts. If you're in the mixed martial arts, you gotta work on your MMA. You gotta work on mixed martial arts. That means several things in the mixed martial arts. You're just not gonna come in there and say, okay, I know karate. You're not just gonna go get in the MMA cage and say I know karate and think it's gonna work because it's still traditional. You have to actually practice MMA. And MMA consists of Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, all the ground games. If you're not interested in all of them becoming a weapon, then you're at a loss. You're at a loss situation.
Real quick, going to take you back also. You said you came out here at the end of the 90s. Was the intention to get more experience in the boxing world, or did that happen once you got out here to Las Vegas?
But the funny thing about it was, I got recruited to come out here to be a comedian at the Riviera Casino Hotel. So when that didn't work out, I started boxing.
How long did you do comedy for?
11 years.
Oh, okay, so that's another deep path.
I was successful, but I couldn't keep laughing at my own jokes. You know what I'm saying? So, but I was mediocre successful doing it, and I got recruited to come out here to work at the Riviera Casino Hotel, and there was some discrepancies about my contract, so my marriage wasn't going too well. So I figured, if I wanted to focus on something else, I started going to the boxing gym. So I learned how to box, and Jeff Mayweather was one of my first coaches. Tyrone Boone was one of my first coaches, and I actually started training at Johnny Taco's gym back in like 95, not 96. 96 I started training at Johnny Taco's, And at the time, Mayweather's gym wasn't around. We was all going to Richard Steele's gym at the time. So, and I was 32 years old. I was getting a lot of sparring, but to prepare for a fight, I didn't fully have it because of injuries. I got two new hips and I got a new shoulder. So I wasn't able to do it, the way I wanted to because I was too old. So I figured, well, go ahead and learn the trade and keep it as a tool. And here I am. Here
Did
I am.
did you expect to transition to this part, to the coaching? How did that happen?
I don't even know. I was working with some of the guys in Florida, and basically I wasn't getting paid. I was just basically interning because I didn't think I had the skill. I kept hearing, you're no good. You're not doing what you're supposed to do in this business. You're not made for it because you was never a fighter. But I can box. But I was never a fighter. But I can box. So I kept hearing that, and that kind of pulled me down a little bit. But I kept running with it and say, I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm just going to work with these kids, and I'm going to get better and better and better. And that's what I did. I started working with the kids, and I got better. Then all of a sudden, a guy comes along and was like, fresh out of jail, Kenny Lunkins, 5-time world champion, Kenny Lunkins. Now, Kenny Lunkins was a bad dude. He was a 5-time world champion. Angelo Dundee was his trainer at the time, back in the days. And he had got out of jail for doing 6 years and says, hey, you think you can work with me? And I'm like, he's a pro fighter. This is my opportunity. Here's my opportunity right here. So I took that opportunity and I ran with it. And I trained him for like 2 months, and we battled. We battled every day. But I learned so much from him. And then jobs started coming, like Marcus Brimage. Remember Marcus Brimage?
Oh yeah, the Bama Beast. Yes, yes, I know him.
I'm a beast. So I started training him. I started to train him for hands, for UFC, for mixed martial arts, and then I started training with the Black Zillions, which there was a bunch of the Black Zillions. So I was training them guys, and then I was getting jobs just left and right, and didn't know the process of how much to charge. I was just like, I think I'm making a transition from doing something else to doing something else, and it actually worked. But I still had to realize I still had to take my time doing it, and I had to stay focused because I got ridiculed and I got bashed a lot because of my skills of not being a fighter. So in this business, you have to realize coaches coach, fighters fight. If you can coach, that doesn't mean you can't fight. You're a coach, and so you have to be able to have the knowledge to say, hey, the fighter's doing this to you. This is what I need you to do to him or to your client. You have to tell your client what to do to the opponent. So that's where I became better at, and I think I am probably one of the most creative coaches in the business when it comes to pad work because I teach through pads. A lot of people just do pads to do pads. I didn't get the name Pad Man for no reason. Bama gave me that name. Marcus Brimage gave me that name.
Was it just one day during a session, or what?
He said, "I'm gonna call you the Pad Man." That's what. So I got it on the arm. Everybody calls me the Pad Man. So I got to live up to all expectations.
How does it go that you're immersed in this whole boxing world, and then even you started dabbling in MMA, and I've heard it's expanded into even cornering Muay Thai fights? That's stepping into a whole nother genre of this combat sports world.
Unbelievable. I had a friend of mine connect me with someone that was looking for a really good boxing coaches. They was looking for a boxing coach. They had boxing coaches lined up who they wanted to choose from, and then when they seen me, they wanted me right away. At the time, I found out I was already in Argentina training somebody else, and when I got back from Argentina, I had to pack and get ready to go to Thailand. So I ended up going to Thailand for 3 months, and I trained Pet Mordecai, which he beat Pedrosin, and I trained Petum, which he is one championship champion. And I've trained Michael Savaz, a lot of other good fighters, Saul Grau. There's so many good fighters at Pet Chindi Academy Kingdom in Thailand, and I had opportunity to train at that gym and make a name for myself. And I did very well. I did very well. I trained just about every person that came in that gym, and I worked with everybody, and I just showed them a different way of training. Like, you can do this. Don't set yourself up to only stay traditional. You can do other things when you do it. So I made myself. Uh, I set myself on a pedestal in a different way. I had to, or if I'm not making a difference, then why am I there? You know what I mean? If I'm not making a difference, then there's no sense of me being there. You know?
From a coaching perspective, what's it like for you to be able to see the fruits of your labor, to go there, be in the corner, and see your fighters adapt, use skills and stuff that you've taught them?
It was like peaches and cream, man. I just couldn't believe it. I see guys that I was teaching every day, doing what I asked them to do. Then it got to the point where I didn't have to ask them; they were doing it by instinct. So that made me like that put me on a whole other pedestal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I'm ready to take any challenge now. Like, I'll take on K1 fighters. I'll take on Muay Thai fighters. I'll take on kickboxers. I'll take on boxers. I'll take anything, and I can adapt, and I can train anybody in anything because I'm a coach. Coaches must know how to adapt. Coaches coach, fighters fight. You know, and that's the whole game plan. It's the same thing if you're a race car driver, okay, and you ask me to coach you. I'm not a race car driver, but if I know how to coach you and tell you what you're doing wrong, that's a coach.
Josh Herrera had set up this interview. He's a correspondent for us with boxing. Comes out here, works with you. He can't say enough good things about you, and like an index encyclopedia of how deep you guys can get in the science of pad work and everything. Having pupils out there and having people that come to you to seek out that knowledge, what does that also mean to you, that people are so invested in learning how you do what you do, that you become that big?
I'm blown away by the shining. I never thought that I'd be shining like that. Honest to God's truth, like, people come from all over the world. They see me on Instagram and Facebook, and they come here and they like, "We're here to see you. We want to see you work." And I thought, like, they would only come to see, one of my mentors, Mayweather Senior.
Right.
By the way, by the way, he passed the torch already. You didn't see the video.
What was that like?
Blown me away because we're at a fight, and he says, "Listen." I asked him about my skills. He says, "I'm passing the torch to you." He said, "I want you to take that torch. I want you to run with it because you're the best out there, and you'll be probably better than me." For him to say that was huge. Like I posted the video on my Instagram, and it's just, I was, oh man, I don't even want to, like, I'm like a little baby back bitch right now. I'm ready to start tearing up. You know what I'm saying?
I do a good job of asking the hard questions. I do it a
Yeah,
good job.
yeah.
But that's some amazing, beautiful stuff. So without giving away too many of the secrets, what are some fundamentals to some good pad work?
Creativity. Go where no other person goes. Do things that no other persons do. Practice things that no one else does. That's the key. If you practice things no one else does. Like, defense should be along with pad work. Slip and roll in defense and throwing punches, they go together. You don't leave anything out. Don't leave nothing out, man. Just embrace it, have a good time doing it.
We only got a couple minutes left. Want to ask you, you got a good travel story for us? We know you've been around the world.
Wow. Singapore was amazing. The cleanest place I've ever been. I've never seen prawns big as, I don't know, they're called river prawns. They're like, when you open it up, it was like a piece of big lobster that was like that big, river prawns, and I've never seen anything like that. And if they ask me again to come to Thailand, I'll be on the next plane. I went from 280 to 265.
Oh, nice.
The food's better. I had to adapt. I had to adapt. But I had the greatest time, and I met uh, amazing people that stuck by me in my corner and just motivated me the whole time. Because you somewhere for 4 months, man. You're gonna get a little frustrated
Right.
sometimes. You know what I mean? They took me out, took me to different islands. I got a chance to, you know, see some of the beaches and enjoy my time. And I went to Hong Kong. Hong Kong was incredible, and I helped Joshua. Joshua is now champion in Hong Kong in MMA. He's the first champion in Hong Kong. So I uh, I did some good things, man. I did some amazing things.
And then throughout these three sports, Muay Thai, MMA, boxing, that you're working with, who are some of these prospects, up and comers, that you're most excited about?
Uh, that's a hard one to say because um, I've really accomplished my goal. Right now, I'm in the process of just looking for um, kids to help.
Looking for a younger generation.
I'm looking for a younger generation. Like I've trained some of the best fighters like Andrew Tabiti, Sharif Bulgari, Jarvis Holyfield, um, Pet Mordecai in Muay Thai, and like I said, I've probably worked with over 300 fighters and been in like at 160 corners, man. And just I mean, like I said, I'm embracing it. I'm happy. I love my job. That's the reason why I'm in this position that I'm in now. 'Cause a lot of people don't like their jobs. Me, I love my job. I wake up, work out, and then I go train people for a living. That's what I do. I was working with Veronica Merceda for the last 2 days over at the UFC headquarters and getting her ready for her big fight. And she was just so happy to be back working with me. I was happy to be back working with her. Because I make a difference. And if I'm making a difference, I'm doing something. I'm doing something with my life, making a difference.
It was great getting to talk to you, Coach. Thank you for the time, man.
Always,
Great
man.
pleasure, sir.
Always, man.
Everybody, Cage Minds, thanks for watching.